screen just had a little glitch there. I think we're live. Can you see me? Hello. Because it feels like I've been away forever, and I've only been away for like 2 days. But it's good to be back. I missed my live yesterday sitting at the airport. It was just too noisy and it just wasn't going to work. So thanks for persevering with me this week. It's great to be here. I want to talk to you guys about TikTok today. And I want to share with you a little bit about my journey being on TikTok and how I've resurrected my account, gaining thousands of followers and in more conversations than I can kind of handle at the moment. So I've gone back to the core of what I know, what works on social media, and it proves me right every time. And I think it's worth talking about. So I hope you guys are doing well. I have been interstate this week in Australia. I don't know whether you guys know, depending where you're listening from, if you're from another country, we had some cyclones here in Australia, not where I live here, but on the sort of eastern side of some parts of Australia. And I was going this week to some company events and they all got cancelled because our CEO and people that were flying in from America couldn't get here. So their flights got cancelled, the events got cancelled, but there was a number of us that still had flights and accommodation booked. So we're like, let's go anyway, catch up, brainstorm, have some fun. And we did exactly that. So check out some of the photos on my personal profile. There's something else I was going to say. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I do want to say thank you very much to my girl, Beth Frederick, for doing the coaching community training yesterday. We're talking about Reels practical training and how to use Canva and all sorts of different footage to put Reels together. So thank you very much to Beth. So if you are in the coaching community, make sure you catch the recording of that training. And next week, I'll be doing more practical training on Reels. So if you don't really know how to push all the buttons, if you're not aware of the new trials feature on Reels, like all of that stuff, I'll be going through next week in the coaching community. Okay. So if you're here with me live, say hello. Let me know where you are watching from so I can give you a shout out. We've got Doreen here. You made it. Hello, Doreen. Good to see you. And this week, hey, Jane, how are you? We've got Sharon here. Good morning to you in your part of the world. Hopefully those of you in the US and Canada have worked out that the times have changed. Your clocks changed last weekend, which means my live video is an hour out for you guys. So hopefully you've caught up with that. Is it next week or this weekend? The UK clocks change. And then the first weekend of April, our clocks change in Australia and New Zealand. So there will be another time change of when I go live. So just keep watching my posts and emails to work out when I'm going live, because it's really messy twice a year when we all change our clocks. US and Canada first, UK, and then Australia and New Zealand. So we're in the middle of all of that at the moment. So yeah, for US and Canada, your clocks, like it's a different time now, but it'll change again in a couple of weeks' time. Oh, and have you guys caught up with the news this week that in our industry, Herbalife have acquired Prove It? Did you hear that one? So that's just happened this week as well. So apparently Prove It are going to operate pretty much as they normally do for a couple of years, but then it'll all be rolled into one in Herbalife. So another company, more movement. Very grateful to be in a company that's thriving and, you know, not having takeovers and stuff like that. But that's the latest news if you haven't heard that this week. Christina, yay for TikTok, even if there was talk of a potential breakup. Yeah, there's all the political stuff, with TikTok, but, you know, there's ways and means around everything. I hadn't heard about the acquisition. It was only announced not yesterday, the day before, about Herbalife and Prove It. So you may not have heard of that, a lot of you. Hey, Marco, good to see you on. So we've got Instagram here, we've got Facebook, my group, and YouTube over here. But let's get into TikTok, okay? Now, I'm on my phone. Otherwise, I would have showed you my phone. But I have taken a screenshot on my spare phone to sort of quote some things that are happening on my TikTok. Okay. So some of you'll know, or even if I don't, I'll bring you up to speed. 2 years ago, I completely rebranded my TikTok. So I went on TikTok. I played around with TikTok a little bit. Oh, I'll just go back to the original TikTok. I said to my youngest son when I first went on it, I really need to learn this TikTok platform. I'm avoiding it. I know it's good for people in our industry, particularly product-wise. Can you show me how to use it? Because all the kids know how to use it. How many of you got kids that are on TikTok? Like, they know how to use it. So I said to Ollie, just find me a video and we'll just do a little skit or something like that. So found me a video. I didn't like it. I said, nah, find another one. Then he found me one and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. I just said, find a mum and son one. So he found one. We did it. And within like hours, I had thousands of followers. That video went viral. I got over 1 million views and 6,000 followers like that. Where else can you do that? Now, I'm not saying if you go on TikTok, you're going to have the same experience, but that's what happened with mine. Not necessarily that was a good thing because those followers were not in my target market. Does that make sense? Like, they weren't following information from me on business or product. It was just a funny skit with myself and my son, and it attracted 6,000 followers. But those 6,000 followers weren't necessarily in my target market. So, it was good to take off like that, but it doesn't necessarily help you if you've got all the wrong people there. Okay. So I just played around. I did business on TikTok for a while. It just never really worked for me. I just couldn't get the views. I couldn't get it going. So I knew a lot of people were having success in the industry on TikTok with product. So I rebranded. I kept the same channel. I didn't even create a new channel. I kept the same channel and I completely rebranded it. I didn't even explain myself because that's kind of not how TikTok works. TikTok videos goes out to new people, all the time. And I went product based and I changed my brand. It was called Conquer Hormonal Weight Gain. And I went on a weight loss journey myself. I wasn't happy going through, the change of life as women do. Ladies, can you relate? For the ladies that are here. And I just shared my journey and I literally lost the weight in front of people's eyes on TikTok. I grew my following really quickly. People really gravitated towards my story and my journey. And that's what I concentrated on, my journey and my story. And it was pretty powerful for me because of the accountability. I turned up one day and I said, this is the journey that I'm going on. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm not happy with these things. And I just showed up every day and I just talked, not scripted, a lot, just sharing a lot about my journey and adding some value in. And it skyrocketed my TikTok. Some of you might kind of remember that. So then I fell off the wagon for one reason or another. I know a lot of you can relate to that. You get on a platform and you do really well, and then life gets in the way for one reason or another and you drop off. So only a few weeks ago, I'm like, for me personally, so this is my journey. So you have to relate it to what's happening with you in your world, whether it's business or product and what's going on for you. But for me, like personally, gone through Christmas, been away, been on holidays, eaten lots, drank lots, put on some weight, certainly not all the weight that I lost by any means, but put on some weight. And it's like, no, I kind of want to share my journey again. I want to get on the bandwagon. I want to do this for me. So and here's a key thing. When I showed up on TikTok the first time and got all my results, I was showing up for me and sharing my journey and my story. That's the most powerful thing. What's the journey that you're on? What's the problem you're solving for yourself? And share it genuinely, authentically. So the first time I did it, it blew me away because I was just legitimately being me more than I'd been on any other platform anywhere. It was just Helen sharing her journey and what I was doing every day. And it was so easy to create the content because I was literally just sharing my journey that I was going through. Do you get that? Like, your journey and your story is one of the most powerful things that you've got, but so many of you are so caught up in how do I get a customer? How do I get a business partner? How do I make more sales? You're looking at the get rather than the story, the journey, and giving and solving a problem of not only yours, of people that are similar to you that have got the same problem as you. Okay. So it was the easiest kind of content that I created because it was just literally me, my journey, my story. This is what I'm doing. No one can argue with your story, whatever that is. Like, why are you building your business? Why are you using the products that you're doing? Like, why are you building what you're building? There's a reason for that. How much do you actually share of that? So only like a few weeks ago, I'm like, no, I'm kind of sick of myself. I want to kind of go on that journey again. But for me, it's accountability. I'm doing it for my own accountability because I know myself. Unless I kind of go public with something, it doesn't, like, I don't know what it is with us human beings, but we will serve everybody else and make everyone else happy and, cook and clean and look after kids and grandkids and, elderly parents, whatever it is, other people and do other things. But we leave ourselves behind. Sometimes that's in business. You're not doing what you need to do for your business because you're doing everything else. Or maybe you're not as healthy as you could be because you're living life and doing everything else and you're kind of just avoiding it. Like, I don't know why we do it, but sometimes we just don't do the things that we know we want to do to make ourselves be healthier, a better version. Watching personal development training and being a better version of ourselves, because I say this all the time. It's not all the skills, like I'm sharing with you what I've done, and this is a skill-based training, but my first live video of the week, that's the one everybody should be listening to religiously every week, because it's you that's going to make you, build a successful business. Anyway, so getting back on track. So I went back on TikTok, and I've been playing around with TikTok, putting a few videos up here and there, and my following just bottomed out, stalled. The engagement, all of it stalled. I stopped showing up. I stopped sharing my journey, and the results just, if we don't show up, if you don't share your journey, if you don't share what problems you solve, what problems you're going through, then like things really stall on social media. So all I did a few weeks ago is like, no, I want to get on the bandwagon. I want to share my story again. I just want to do this. I want to do this for me, my accountability. So I just get up there and talk. Okay. So I've been doing that, and I want to share with you what's happened in the last week, just week. I've gained 3,500 followers. There is no other platform that I've achieved the speed of a following like I have on TikTok. So 3,500 new followers. And mind you, I put exactly the same videos on Instagram as I do on TikTok. Might be lucky to get a couple of hundred views off Instagram. Check this out. So 7, 8, maybe 10 days ago, I started just a little series. So I'm on TikTok for health. My thing is weight loss, it's menopause, it's hormones that relates to the products that I sell. So that's my journey, that's my branding. So I've got an Instagram channel, not the Instagram channel I'm on live now. I'm on my Helen Martin Online Instagram channel now, which is business, because I'm teaching social media. But I have another Instagram channel. I'm live over here on my phone on Instagram on my business channel. But I have another Instagram, which is health, which is very similar to TikTok. So the branding's the same. I put the same videos up. I'll be lucky to get a couple of hundred views from Instagram, but I'll get thousands on TikTok. Go figure. Okay. So 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 days ago, I started this kind of series. I've got 7 videos. I've got to do video 7 today. I missed a day while I was traveling this week. So I have missed a couple of days. Just being busy and stuff, but there's nowhere else I can achieve this. So my first video of this 7 video series. So you need really good hooks. Hooks are everything on social media. With particularly, I was going to say particularly reels and TikToks, but even like the first line of a post that you write on Facebook, that's a hook. Like, it'll either make the difference of somebody continuing to read your post or not. And on a reel and on a TikTok, it's the hook. It's the very first words you see. Okay. So mine's, keeping in mind, this is product based. So my first one was, this is the missing piece for so many women that can't lose belly fat. That was my hook. Okay. So this is the start. That's video 1. And then there was 7 videos. I'm doing video 7 today. So there's 8 videos in this series. That video had 47,000 views. Tip 1 of 7, 90,000 views. Tip 2 of 7, 10,000 views. Tip 3 of 7, 3,998. Tip 4 of 7, 2,500. That's kind of more normal for me. Tip 5 of 7, 1,700. And the one that I posted about 12 hours ago, 725. Okay. Like, check that. 90,000 views. 90,000 views. I'm in more conversations in TikTok. And this is what blows me away. I'm on Facebook pretty much every day. Every day. And I'm not bagging Facebook. Like, Facebook is still the biggest platform for most people. It's where most people gravitate to. It's still the biggest platform with the biggest following. Like, I wouldn't ever stop Facebook to concentrate on TikTok. I'm going to be on Facebook. I'll stick with Instagram. And obviously I'm on TikTok as well. But there's just something about, so it's a unique platform in that way. So if you haven't ventured on TikTok, then it's a possibility to try. I'm not a big believer that you should be on all platforms just because somebody else is having success on that platform. You could go on TikTok and not have any results. But what it comes down to, and my point with all of this, is I stopped showing up consistently. So my following stopped and the connection stopped and the engagement stopped. Like, if you stop on any platform, your results will stop. Consistency is key. I'm back on there, but not only for, what I might gain from it as a social media creator, but my accountability to myself in sharing my health journey and keeping me accountable. Like, I'm doing it largely for me. So it takes on a different meaning. Like, when you look at social media that way, like, how many of you feel overwhelmed by social media? You're posting, by the seat of your pants, and you're not really into it. Like, you don't really feel it. It's because you're not owning your own journey and your own story. When you own your own journey and your own story, and you genuinely share it authentically, like I am at the moment, it's so much easier. And what blew me away the first time on TikTok is, man, I've spent years building up my following of teaching social media to people. I go on TikTok for like 5 minutes and talk about my health and my journey and whatever. My following goes through the roof. The engagement goes through the roof. The customer orders went through the roof. And it was the easiest thing I'd done because I genuinely shared my own journey and my story. Are you getting the picture here of why it works? So I've gone back on TikTok now, just in the last few weeks, to go back to what I know what works. Me, my journey, my story, my voice. I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm not hiding behind crafted content. I'm not, and it has its place on social media. I don't want to say that doesn't have its place, but when you genuinely sit in your brand, which I do, and I genuinely live and breathe my brand, and I genuinely live and breathe the journey that I'm on, whether it's perfect or not, and it's far from perfect. It's a hell of a lot easier. It's a hell of a lot more fun. It's a hell of a lot more motivating to create the content, and the consistency is easier. But the most of all is I've got that human connection again with people. Like, at the moment, I'm building trust back up with my TikTok audience, and I'm just giving tips around what's important to me and my brand, and sharing the different iteration of my journey this time from the last time, sharing all the tips that I know worked last time, but now I've got a little different take on it this time. I won't go into details of what the actual content, but I'm just sharing that genuinely, authentically. So I wake up pretty much every day at the moment, at least 100 new followers a day, at least. And I'll go to my phone. Oh, it's on that phone. I cleared it out this morning. I hosted a webinar this morning. I came back to my TikTok. I had 99 new followers again. Okay, so the following is growing like that. Not everyone will comment, not everyone will engage, but every time I go back, there's somebody that's commented stuff. So I put up, the other thing with TikTok that's weird is once you get one video that gets traction, all the others grow around it, and they could have sat there for weeks. So what I've noticed happens when you're consistent on TikTok with all your videos is that some might sit there for a few weeks, and then you do one that takes off a little bit more, and then the others then start growing again. It's kind of weird. But so older videos. So I put a video up early February. I was in my kitchen. I was just making something with some ingredients of a couple of products from my company. Didn't do much. The video didn't do much for weeks. We're kind of like 5 or 6 weeks down the track. For some reason, it took off. My call to action was the word recipe. So I'm sharing the recipe. I'm showing people what I did. I shared what was in it. If you'd like the recipe, just comment recipe. I'm not kidding you. I would have manually, because I didn't automate it, I would have manually sent that recipe to over 100 people in the last week and a half. There's probably more there now asking for the recipe. My frustration with myself is that I didn't automate it. Like I haven't got any of those 100 people on an email list, and that's a big loss. And I've just given out the recipe. I didn't put it in, like, and some of you might not be at that stage. You might only be at a manual messaging stage, but there's still leads. And then, you know, that creates a conversation, and then people get curious, oh, what's that product? And it's like, well, you can't actually buy it in the shops, but I can give you some information. Like it starts, like I'm just been sharing my journey, sharing what I'm using, sharing what I'm doing, and it creates conversations. And so I'm in so many conversations on TikTok. I'm not really worrying about kind of where else, you know, I'm having conversations, because it's just creating those conversations. If you're not having conversations with anybody on social media, where's your next customer coming from? When's your next brand partner coming from? Your client, like whatever it is that you do. So customers, and yeah, I mean, yes, you can have a level of automation, but most of you won't. You've got to have a very big following for automation generally to work, and a huge level of trust with your audience. So if you don't have that, you're probably in manual conversations. But if you're not having many conversations, you're probably not getting many customers. So your content, you always want to strive for your content to create the conversations. Now, how do we do that? When you're more genuine, when you're more authentic, you're sharing your journey, you sit in that journey, you know your personal brand, you feel good about that, you know what problems you're solving for yourself, and you talk about that, and you talk to other people about that. It's more natural, it's more motivating, it comes easier, and the results will come. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. So just checking on some comments here. I find a lot of TikTok followers are young children. Not at all, Sharon. Now, Sharon, you're in my team. You get access to all my coaching community training. If you want to look at TikTok, get on the TikTok bootcamp. Watch all the recordings of the TikTok bootcamp. Anyone in my coaching community, you've got access to the TikTok bootcamp. If you are seeing young children, then you haven't trained the algorithm on TikTok. The algorithm on TikTok is really, really responsive. So if you want to see different people and connect with different people, then you need to go and search for some content that you want to see, creators that you want to follow, and change the algorithm. If people only just show up on TikTok and you post videos, but you know you're not looking at content, you're not training the algorithm as to what you want to see and who you want to see your content, then it'll be a little bit of a mixed bag when you first go on TikTok. You have to train the algorithm when you first go on TikTok. Otherwise, you're just going to see random people dancing or doing really weird stuff. Like TikTok is a weird platform. So until you train the algorithm as to what you want to see and who you want to put your content in front of, it is going to be a weird platform. It is definitely not like I'm in conversations every day with women my age suffering with what I'm dealing with weight gain and hormone. There are plenty of people, older people on TikTok in your target market. Absolutely. I love that it wasn't about you teaching. It was about you going on your journey. But I'm still teaching. And here's the thing. It is very much my journey, Christina, and that's what draws people in, because you guys are your biggest asset. When you just teach, when you just give value, it's just like people can Google that information. What you want to learn to do is get the valuable information, but share your journey with it and marry it together. So you just don't want your journey without any kind of substance to it. You don't want just all the valuable information without sharing your journey with it. You want to marry them together. So have really good tips and get valuable information. Video for another day. I might talk about that next week. I just shared it on the webinar I was on, actually, how I created the content for those 7 videos I've got up in the moment. So I'll talk about that next week. But it's just so simple to do. But when you can marry up your story, your journey, your authenticness, what's going on for you with value, now you're talking. Okay? Now you're going to get people interested. Okay. How do you share from Instagram to TikTok? You don't, Sharon. You can't. I'm using the same videos and loading them up to the platform. So I do my raw video, I upload it to TikTok, then I go over to Instagram and I use the same raw video and I create the hook and the description and the caption and whatever. There was a training I did, I think, Sharon, 2 or 3 weeks ago in the coaching community, sharing how I cross-promote all my content. Go and watch that training and that'll show you how I go through that process. Okay. Do you post videos every day on TikTok now? Yes, I do. Except like this week I was away and I missed a day. I don't beat myself up from that. I just, do what I can, but I am trying to do a video on TikTok every day. Yes. But it's not I don't like, you got to have content planned, all of you. Otherwise you just fly by the seat of your pants. You don't put consistent content up there. There's not much thought behind it sometimes. Like, you got to plan out your content. But when it comes to TikTok, I have a little bit of planning, but because it's my journey and my story and I'm living and breathing it every day, it's easy. It's like, okay, what can I talk about today? Or what am I eating today? I'll share that today. Or what have I learned about this and that? And whatever, I'll share that today. Like, I don't have to put as much thought into it because I'm just sharing me and my journey. So it's easier to create content. Okay. How did you get the orders? So you put a call to action on your TikTok. Like, have a look at some of my TikToks, Sharon, and you look at the videos, and there's either a call to action in the video itself and on the screen with the captions or in the description. So like the recipe one, you just, if you would like the recipe, put the word recipe down. Or if you would like to know, what protocol I use, put the word protocol down. And then you get in a conversation with somebody on TikTok Messenger. That's a conversation for another day. It's a very clunky platform as far as talking to people because you can't send links, you can't send PDFs. Conversation for another day. It's all in the TikTok bootcamp, Sharon. But you like you would do on Facebook, you put a call to action, somebody puts down a word or something, and then you start a conversation, and that will lead to a sale. Okay. Absolutely feel overwhelmed. So that's where the planning comes into play. It's just so important. No worries, Debbie. I'm adding create a video day to my business DMO after hearing this to share more. Yeah. And the other thing that I did before I went interstate. So I knew I was traveling this week and going interstate, and I knew I was not going to have time to record my videos. So the day before I left, I pre-recorded the next 4 videos. And so they've been sitting in my camera roll all week. So when I was over there, I was still posting the video because I'd pre-done it. I'd put the captions on it. So I've already pre-recorded it. So if you're doing something like Reels and TikTok, batch record. You don't necessarily have to turn up every day and record every day. You have some forward thought as to what it is that you're going to share, and you batch record. So I'm in this series of sharing 7 videos. So I recorded video 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever I recorded before I got on my plane and I went interstate. So I didn't have to do it while I was away. It was all sitting in my camera roll ready to post. So if you want to make it easier for yourself, batch record if you're doing short form video. Okay, you just, again, it's in the planning. Okay, 1 a day. I would, if you want to be consistent, you want to grow a following and you want people to engage with you, you need to be consistent. I'd do 1 a day. Yes. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks. Didn't know that. So find people I want to see more of. You got to train the TikTok algorithm like you like you would any other algorithm. Okay. Like you guys know about personal branding. You talk to the person that you want to attract and the problems that you solve. Why do you do that? To attract the right people to you, even if that's Facebook or Instagram. So TikTok's no different. Okay. You still want to try to attract the right people. Okay. We had an absolute ball, Sharon. We absolutely did. Okay. Awesome information. Get back to your trainings after your coaching. No worries. Okay, I'll leave it there. I've talked long enough. But if you just if you take anything away from this, your authentic journey. What's your story? Know your personal brand. Sit in it. Be confident in it. Share it. Share you. Share what you're going through, but marry your story with valuable information because, people want to come back and learn more. What are people learning from you? If you just show up and share your journey, that's all me. So you want to share the journey with the value so they learn from you at the same time they're following your journey. Okay, that's kind of the little magic piece. And not every video needs to have a call to action. Not every video will you sell. My videos, I do have calls to action for people to reach out if they want to know more about my products, but I'm giving value and sharing my journey at the same time. Okay, so I hope that's helpful for you guys, just to take some inspiration from, like, have a look at my videos, see what I'm doing. But it's just kind of blown me away that what I knew worked back in 2023, all I've done is that same strategy, which I let slide, I'm doing again. And within like 2-3 weeks, it's just already working. It's like, why did I stop doing what I knew worked? Okay. So success leaves clues, guys. So, I hope you get some little tips out of that you can go and, execute, even if it's not TikTok. Maybe you might be on another platform, but just sharing your journey authentically and whatever, that kind of strategy works on any platform as far as social media content goes and attracting the right people to you. Okay. My TikTok handle is, I changed it recently. So I changed my branding as well. It is, Matthew, it's not really your topic because it's talking about hormones and women, but it's called Menopause and Hormone Harmony. But my actual, it's still Helen Martin Online. It's still got my original. So if you search Helen Martin Online, it'll come up, or if you search for Menopause and Hormone Harmony, it'll come up. But it is a product-based one, Matthew, where I'm sharing my journey in that space for me. Okay. So just kind of relate it to whatever you guys are doing in your brand, your products, whatever's going for you. Okay. All right. I've spoken long enough. Now this is my last video for the week. Do not forget my VIP 6-month mentorship program only opens twice a year. If you want to work more closely with me to look at your content, give you direction, evaluate all your stuff, get deeper training, work closely with me. We have 2 calls a month. It's just such high accountability and mentorship. Put the word VIP or reach out to me personally because it's only open twice a year and it's open this month for expressions of interest for my 1st of April intake. So we go from 1st of April to the end of September is the next 6-month round. We've got a curriculum that we follow, from branding to content creation, conversations, you name it, we go through it. If you want that information of what I include in that 6 months. But it is an investment. Like it's not like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself and you're not willing to do the work, don't ask for the information. It's high level mentorship. So it does cost a little bit more than $50. Okay. People seem surprised, but it's a 6-month intensive program. Okay. But if you want that information, reach out for it. Okay. So I will see you guys next week. We'll continue the conversation on then. And don't forget, coaching community members, watch the replay of Best Training yesterday, Practical Reels Training Part 2, and I'll be doing part 3 next week. Okay, I'll catch you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.